It's funny how light my hair looks in this lighting. I can never actually tell if you guys can see the color. It's like so turquoise right now though. Feel like cotton candy. You're like, you know, you're just like so close. Like people looking at my hair would probably be like, it looks like that all the time, but I'm just like trying to get it to lay right. You know what I mean? I've always got to play with the sponge to like keep my hands busy. I don't know why. So today, the other day, let's start with this one. So the other day so I'm on, wow, just like start the substance. So I'm on Google and I'm searching for different eye shapes because for a video that I want to do on my beauty channel, obviously. And I was looking specifically I get a lot of requests from people who have like a very low brow. So I was trying to find like celebrities or just like photo images online of like someone who had like a low eyebrow and not like a ton of room to work with up here. So the first person that came to my mind was Brooke Shields. So I started looking at photos of her and just scrolling, and then I come across this one where she's wearing a hood and it's clearly a paparazzi photo. She has no makeup on, she's smiling, she looks fucking stunning because it's Brooke Shields. And okay, hold on, I have to pull this up. So I'll pop in the photos that I'm talking about so you can like see. She looks stunningly beautiful. And it says that she's 48 years old in these photos, right? So like just to give you an age, whatever. And of course, it's a fucking Daily Mail article, if you can call it that. And the headline of this photo where she looks literally perfect is "Weary Traveler, Brooke Shields, 48, can't hide her tired and red eyes as she steps out completely makeup free." Naked? I almost said naked free. Makeup free. And it literally is like she is usually seen with perfectly applied makeup and coiffed hair when she hits the red carpet. It's like, go fuck yourself. Like, this is the kind of thing that is so unfortunate because, like, people are attracted to that kind of headline, right? Like, there's a reason that those headlines are out there, and it's because it attracts people. People are attracted to the negative. If you watch The Social Dilemma, it's the same, like, this is a topic that I brought up a lot, but it's the same reason that, like, you know, YouTube channels for news outlets, CNN, etc., they use some kind of like punchy title that like will catch your attention because unfortunately that's social media. That is how they, you know, attract viewers. That's what people on the internet are looking for. They're looking for these like quick, easy to digest, something that catches the eye, titles, photos, and typically it's negative. Not a whole lot of people are looking for, you know, something innocuous or positive or, you know what I mean? But it just made me like so pissed because I was like, she literally looks stunningly beautiful. And maybe that's part of their MO is to like post these photos that they know like she looks beautiful without makeup because she's one of the most beautiful people in the world. I mean, come on, like, hello, Brooke Shields. And then to title it something like that so that people are either confused, like I was, or they want to see more evidence of someone beautiful looking ugly. You know? But the result of that kind of a thing, because the first thing that I thought, literally the first thing without even, like it was just an unconscious thing that happened. When I read that title and I saw the image of her, my immediate thought was like, I'm not going to look that good when I'm her age, you know? Like she's perfect, like she's so beautiful and like, it immediately kind of like, and I recognized it obviously, but it's subconsciously, if you're not paying attention to it, instills this like inferiority complex, I think, for a lot of like regular people who aren't, you know, like ungodly beautiful. And then it makes them feel like, well, if this is how people are viewing Brooke Shields at this age with no makeup on, running, you know, outside running errands, she's just living her life, how are people going to view me when I'm that old, you know, or older or whatever? Like I've been seeing a lot of these photos it was kind of ever since I watched the Britney Spears documentary, because I don't pay attention to like what you would refer to as trash mags or, you know, that kind of thing with the paparazzi shit. When I was watching the Britney documentary, you know, it was like their job, basically, the paparazzi, to like find unflattering photos because it's sold. You know, they would sell them for like millions or whatever. So they're always looking for something that's going to like incriminate the person or make them look bad or make them look ugly with no context. And I've definitely been in conversations with like regular people who, you know, kind of revel in the fact that these like beautiful people look ugly in these photos. Ugly. And my thought is always like, yeah, but imagine yourself in that situation. You're out running errands. You don't know that there's a camera on you. You have no makeup on. You're in your sweats. You're just chilling. Maybe you make a silly face or you sneeze or whatever, and you're caught like mid action, you know? You're not gonna look good. And it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, like you look silly at the very least. And I just think it's so interesting that we, like, as people find that, I don't know if it's like entertainment or if it's even like sort of comforting. Like, I feel like there are kind of different levels to it where it puts unnecessary pressures on regular people to feel like, well, there's a hair on my cheek. Oh, I got it. We're good. Like, no, there's another one. Motherfucker. Like, how am I supposed to live up to something that even these, like, beautiful people can't, you know? And then on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, does that, seeing very regular photos of celebrities and people looking like, I don't know, less than perfect, is that comforting at all to people? Like, unfortunately, I think it has a lot to do with your own mentality and how you view it. Because I think probably the majority of people are seeing it more in that negative way, that it's like judgmental and is it schadenfreude? Schadenfreude? Like that kind of thing? Where you're reveling in the demise or the downfall or the failure of another person. Or basically just like the negative view of another person. That was a long rant. All those words just kind of came out quickly. Basically, fuck the Daily Mail. That's the first thing I want to say. But it just made me so angry because, you know, I've been talking a lot on this channel about, like, particularly women getting older and kind of like, we talked about societal, social pressures. I don't know, like, maybe like job, like, what is the word that I'm trying to look for? Pressures as far as like, you know, being a parent and also working and like basically, which no matter what path you go down, whatever decision you make, there's someone who's like thinking you're doing it wrong or criticizing you for it. And I've definitely seen that a lot with like people who are pregnant or new parents who happen to be social media influencers, and they'll share something personal about it and they just are met with so much criticism. I just want to see how far I can shrink out of frame. Wow, that kind of devolved. I'm not entirely sure how to get back on track. But it's just kind of this idea of like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You know what I mean? And basically, no matter what like decision you make or whatever, you end up like feeling like you're doing the wrong thing because of other people, or maybe feeling left out. You know? The reason that I'm bringing this up, or the reason that I guess it like pissed me off so much, is because I haven't been paying attention to, you know, outlets that their main priority is like celebrity gossip. And so when I saw that, I was just like, oh yeah, you guys exist. And like, you suck. And you're like responsible for making a lot of people feel like shit. Like the people who are reading it and the people who are being spoken about. It's funny, I was watching the I don't know if you guys have Apple TV. I watched the Billie Eilish like documentary recently. What's it called? The World's a Little Blurry. And it was really interesting because it was very much the evolution of her from, you know, like of her success, really, like just blowing up. It was very, very interesting. I really enjoyed it a lot. There was one incident where she was having just like a bad day. Like she wasn't in a good mood. People were kind of like throwing her around, kind of like using her as this like prop to like for a photo op, you know? She didn't know who she was meeting, and it was just very uncomfortable. And she was kept trying to like kind of get out of the situation, being told she could leave, and then kind of like pulled back to be like, meet this person that you like have absolutely no idea who they are, but they're important. So like smile, you know? And then there was negative, there were, I guess, photos that came out, or someone who was there said like she was a bitch, or she was in a bad mood, or like what an entitled, whatever, which is something that you hear a lot when like you're watching an interview with a celebrity who, you know, maybe has been in interviews all fucking day long. They don't know who they're talking to. They specifically said, this is a personal subject that I don't want to discuss. And the interviewer is like trying to hammer it home, and they're in a bad mood, or they react badly. And it's like, we expect them to be perfect all of the time because for whatever reason, we like worship celebrities and we expect them to be these like deities, and they have to like maintain this perfect image. Like Brooke Shields can't like look tired, which she fucking didn't, because she looked beautiful in those photos. But it's just so unrealistic. And I know I talk about this so much, but it just exhausts me because I don't understand how it's still a thing. I just don't get it. You know, when you reach a point where you're like noticing something and you're like, well, this is insane and it shouldn't exist, and everyone should see things this way, or at least like think about it a little bit. But it continues, and you're like, I don't understand why this hasn't changed. So many things like that in the world today. It's crazy. So many things. Anyway, in that documentary, she basically like made that point. She was like, I'm not allowed to have like one day. Like I can't have one day. Like I'm a person, and like people get in bad moods, and like I know that like I have a really hard time faking it if I'm in like a really bad mood. If I'm in a really bad mood, then like you're gonna know, okay? Except for when like I'm not in a bad mood at all, and then people are like, she's in such a bad mood, and I'm like, what? Anyway, the person who, yeah, I've had 3 lattes, so I gotta stop doing that when I film. But it was just interesting to hear her have this conversation with like her mom, and then whoever else was on her team. I don't know if it was like her manager or what, but the consensus was very much in after that event, and having this like dialogue about it was very much like, we let you down, you weren't protected, like you were just kind of like thrown around like you were a commodity. And that is where things start to go wrong. That's where like it's when people end up just being viewed as like a fucking product that you can, you know, purchase on Amazon or whatever. And one of her points was that like when she does those things, it's literally just people who like aren't interested in actually meeting her. They just want the like selfie. They want to be able to say like, I took a photo with Billie Eilish. You know, they're not actually a fan. There isn't actually that like connection. How did we get on this subject, and how does it relate to Brooke Shields? I was watching just like little clips. I haven't seen the full thing, but I don't know if you guys saw the video of Meghan Markle speaking about the British, I was going to say the British family, the royal family. And like in her interview with Oprah, I just saw bits and pieces, but she summed up, I believe she was discussing the media in general, but she said they don't report the news, they make the news. And that is very much, you know, it's something that's been going on for a very, very long time, obviously. And now with social media and people having just like more access to their audience, they can clear things up a lot quicker. But I think that there are still a lot of people who like read those things and think they're true. Like I think there are definitely still a lot of people who read something on the internet. I mean, a lot of people. Unfortunately, it might be a majority of people who read something on the internet and just think it's true. I don't really know where this rant is going. I'm curious if you're kind of like in the same boat as me, like where you start to make certain like, or you start to, I don't want to say feel enlightened about something because that's so pretentious and ridiculous, but like where you kind of have this shift in how you view something, and you're just like, I don't understand how people aren't like on my level. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how people aren't seeing it this way. How people aren't able to like view the world in this way. I don't get it. And then I just get really pissed off when, especially when it's like this simple distillation of who a person is. And I've recently been so obsessed with just reminding myself that literally every single person is a person, is going through the same shit. Not necessarily the same shit, but you know what I mean. Like, they have their own consciousness. We're doomed because we only view our world through our consciousness. So that's our lens. And it takes a lot of work to step out of that and put ourselves in someone else's shoes. But it's super important. It's like so important. Yeah, that's it. This is literally just a rant because I got pissed off that the Daily Mail was talking shit about Brooke Shields. I was like, where did this come from? That's literally where this video came from. And you know, what bothers me is that like a lot of the time when I do these videos, I often use like influencers or celebrities as an example. And it's because that's what we do to them. You know, we put them up on these pedestals and then we expect them to be perfect and then we like to tear them down, right? So that's like the long and the short, I guess. And I'm always getting these comments from people who watch these videos and they're literally not listening because they comment back and they'll be like, that person has so much money and like whatever, all of their problems are solved, blah, 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 fuck them. They're famous, like who cares? And I'm like, how are you not hearing what I'm saying to you? You're not listening. You see someone on the thumbnail and then you bitch. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. I'm getting pissed off. I should go before this continues. Let me know what your thoughts are. And fuck the Daily Mail. That's literally all I have to say. Great talk. Dude, fuck them for real.